I'm Elizabeth at A Literary Princess. If you are new here, welcome. I am a 6-year PhD candidate in English literature with a focus on Victorian women novelists. And as you might expect, I love to read. So, as you may or may not have noticed behind me, I did some bookshelf rearranging. My husband's grandfather made us another bookshelf, which is always exciting. So, as I was rearranging things, I decided it was time to unhaul things and be very kind of ruthless about it. Probably not as ruthless as I could be. So today I have my unhaul for you. Some of these you will recognize as books that I have read this year and didn't want to keep, and then others are ones that have just been hanging about. I'm not necessarily getting rid of them because I didn't like them. Some of them I actually did like quite a bit, but I don't think I'll reread them. So we're gonna go by genre, starting with nonfiction, going into just general fiction and fantasy, and then ending with classics, because I am getting rid of some classics, even though that is usually a genre I do not unhaul. Let's jump in. So, starting off with the nonfiction, we've got The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot. I read this for a class a few years ago, and I really loved this. I gave it 5 stars. I'm pretty sure it ended up on my best books of the year list, but I don't think I'm going to reread it, so I am going to pass it along. We then have one that I did not read. This is Susan B. Anthony by Eileen Cooper. I just don't think I'm gonna read this. We have Introduction to Literature, Criticism and Theory by Andrew Bennett and Nicholas Royal. I just don't feel the need to keep this. It is looking more and more unlikely that I will end up teaching, so. Or Literary Theory. Literary Theory and Introduction by Terry Eagleton. I hate theory. Like, I really hate theory. I think I bought this right before my exams. I was like, and I'll read it and brush up on my theory. No. We've got A History of English Romanticism in the 18th Century by Henry A. Beers. I picked this up for free at my university, but I don't really want to read it now. Burnout, The Secret to Unlocking the Stress Cycle by Emily and Amelia Nagoski. I loved this, but I don't think I need it anymore. And then to end the nonfiction, we have one that I read this year, and that is Praying with Jane Eyre, Reflections on Reading as a Sacred Practice by Vanessa Zoltan. It was fine. I didn't agree with a lot of it, and I don't feel the need to keep it. All right, moving into fiction. First up is Lonely Castle in the Mirror by Mizuki Sugimura. I loved this. I gave it 4.5 stars. I just don't feel the need to keep it, and I don't think I'll reread it. Goldspun by Brandy June. This was a Rumpelstiltskin retelling, and again, I enjoyed it. I just don't think I'll read it again. One that I DNF'd this year, Elmet by Fiona Mosley. I just could not get into it. Six Crimson Cranes by Elizabeth Lim. I think I read this last year, and I enjoyed it, but I'm not gonna read it again. Snow White and Rose Red by Patricia C. Reed, which is a Snow White and Rose Red retelling. Again, enjoyed it, don't feel the need to revisit it. The Mirror Season by Anna Marie Miclemore. Again, I think I read this last year. It's a retelling of The Snow Queen. Enjoyed it, not going to revisit it. The Book of Gothel by Mary McMinn. Another one that I'm pretty sure I read last year. Maybe it was the year before, I don't remember. I don't remember anymore. Time is... Anyway, again, really liked it, not going to revisit it. Next 3 go together. This is the Folk of the Air trilogy. We've got The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing, all by Holly Black. I really enjoyed this series when I read it. They were all 5 stars, and I love Holly Black, but I don't think I'm gonna revisit it, and if I ever decide that I do, I can just get it out of the library. Docile by K.M. Spera. Another one that I really liked, but I don't feel the need to revisit. Dark and Deepest Red by Anna Marie Miclemore, a retelling of the Red Shoes. Again, enjoyed it, just not gonna reread it. Here's one that I actually have not read. This is Vampires in the Lemon Grove and Other Stories by Karen Russell. I got this for free from my former roommate when she was moving out, and I thought that I might read it, but I just don't feel the need to. So I'm gonna pass it along. Gentlemen and Players by Joanne Harris. This is a really good one, but I don't want to reread it. And yeah. We Ride Upon Sticks by Quan Berry. I loved this, but I don't think I'm gonna revisit it. Another series, The Midnighters by Scott Westerfeld, with The Secret Hour, Touching Darkness, and Blue Noon. I read these in high school, I think, and I have not read them since. I always thought I might revisit them, but I don't think I'm gonna. Now, Scott Westerfeld's other series, Uglies, I am keeping because I do want to reread those. Another Holly Black one, this is Tithe. I have the rest of this series on my Kindle, and I actually really hate this cover. So if I decide I want to reread it at some point, I'll just buy it on my Kindle. And the final one in the fiction category is Midnight Pearls by Debbie Vigui, a Little Mermaid retelling that I read earlier this year, and just, it was okay. And now we move into the classics. And the first one is The Missionary by Sydney Owenson, Lady Morgan. I didn't like this one. I read it for my exams, did not like, and I'm like, why am I keeping this classic that I don't like on my shelves? And it's not even a Penguin or an Oxford. So like, no. Get rid of it. Daughters of Danaus by Mona Caird. This is a New Woman novel. So I am always very hesitant to get rid of Victorian books, especially by kind of non-canonical women writers like Mona Caird, but I really didn't like this. And I don't think I'm ever gonna wanna reread it. The Gold Bug and Other Tales by Edgar Allan Poe. I love Edgar Allan Poe, but this is just a Dover Thrift edition, and I think if I want Edgar Allan Poe, I can buy a Penguin or an Oxford. The Story of an African Farm by Olive Schreiner, another Victorian woman writer. I read this for my exams. It was fine. I don't feel the need to revisit it. The Blithedale Romance by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I read this for a class. I really liked it, but I don't think I'm gonna reread it. Also, this cover is quite ugly. One that I read this year, actually last month, I don't even remember. Sappho, translated by Mary Barnard. It was fine. I just don't feel the need to keep it. I'm so happy to be getting rid of this one. I'm so happy. This is Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. Great book. I hate this copy. I got a new Penguin copy, so I can get rid of this now. Yay! The Lancashire Witches by William Harrison Ainsworth. Now, I wrote a chapter of my master's thesis on this, so I was very hesitant to get rid of this, because I'm like, well, I wrote my thesis on it. Like, it's kind of sentimental that way. But honestly, I don't want to reread this book. God. I don't want to. I just don't. So, fare thee well. Also, hideous cover. Another Victorian woman writer. This is Cometh Up as a Flower by Rhoda Broughton. Just did not like it at all. The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I've had this copy since I was in high school. It's a Bantam classic. I like The Scarlet Letter, but I don't think I'm going to be rereading it anytime soon. And I would rather end up getting a Penguin or an Oxford if I decide that I do need it. A Separate Piece by John Knowles. I always thought that I might reread this. I read it for my freshman year of high school and didn't really like it that much. I thought I might like it as an adult, but I don't really want to. I just don't want to. Finally, Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe. This is another one that I've had since I was in high school. I have mixed feelings on this book. I actually did write a paper that I really like on it and might try to make into an article at some point. But if I do that, I think I'm gonna get a different edition because this is a Barnes & Noble mass market paperback classic, and like it's just takes up a lot of space for a book that I don't really like that much. So if I decide that I want to turn that paper into an article, I will get a copy out of the library or I will buy a Penguin or an Oxford. So those are all the books I'm unhauling. I will be taking them to the used book superstore in Burlington, Massachusetts. I don't know when, because I don't know when the next time I'm gonna go there is. Mom and I have to plan a trip. It's like, it's a whole day thing just because of, I live in New Hampshire. So it's like 45 minutes to my parents' house, and then it's another like at least half an hour to Burlington from there, probably more because traffic. And there's no like easily accessible road that goes there. But anyway, you don't need to know all that probably. So yeah, I will be unhauling these hopefully sometime soon because they are sitting in a box by our TV currently, and I think the cats would really like the box back. Let me know down in the comments below, have you read any of these? What did you think? What books have you been unhauling lately? If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to see more of my bookish content. It has been great chatting with you. I will see you soon. Bye.